Jakirat Singh Sidhu, the truck driver responsible for 16 deaths and 13 life-altering injuries to members of the Humboldt Broncos, was recently sentenced to 8 years in prison, or according to my math, 6 months of jail time for every life taken. Sidhu also faces a 10-year driving suspension, and there's a good chance he'll be deported back to India once his prison time is served. Good riddance. Oh, I know, it was an accident, some might argue. But really? Because I don't think so. I think an accident is what happens when a vehicle slides off the road due to hitting black ice. But Sidhu blew past the stop sign without even tapping the brakes. Apparently he was distracted, or maybe he was just rolling the dice. Either way, he crapped out big time. And make no mistake, this tragedy was not due to a mishap, and more due to the incompetence of an inexperienced driver who had absolutely no business piloting an 18-wheeler. Even so, there's plenty of blame to go around here. That's because the Humboldt Broncos tragedy is yet another glaring reminder of how broken the truck licensing system is, a system that allowed the likes of Mr. Sidhu to get behind the wheel of a big rig in the first place. Indeed, I point to a superb column in the industry trade magazine Today's Trucking by Jim Park entitled, "Paying the Piper, There is Blame to Share in Humboldt Tragedy." Park writes, quote, "Now we know what happened at that cold crossroads near Tisdale, Saskatchewan, where 16 lives were snuffed out in an instant, 13 people were badly injured, and the expected arc of dozens of families was irrevocably knocked off kilter. A truck driver stressing over the billowing tarps on his load of peat moss was concerned they posed a hazard to drivers in oncoming traffic. So focused was he on that hazard that he failed to notice several warning signs and an oversized lighted stop sign as he approached an intersection," end quote. And of course, we all know what happened next. But as Park goes on to note, Sidhu himself is the other tragedy in this story, quote, "because the really sad part is that the industry let him down. The narrative of this story doesn't read like he worked for a supportive company, one that provided the training he needed to tarp a load properly," end quote. Indeed, it was reported earlier in the sentencing hearing that his logbook and vehicle inspection reports contained 70 violations. 70. Just let that number sink in. And as Park notes, quote, "We may never know how he came to be working for that company, and we do not yet know much about his employment history as a driver. We don't know where he was trained, who passed him for his driving test, or even how good a driver, steering and gearing, he was. Nothing in what happened suggests he lacked basic driving skills, but he certainly was never coached in the myriad other duties a driver is supposed to fulfill," end quote. So the question arises, how in blue hell did this person ever receive a truck driving license to begin with? We can't fix the past. People are dead and others have had their lives ruined forever. But the authorities can take the necessary steps to fix the present-day reality. They can and should crack down on fly-by-night truck driving schools, and they can ensure that getting a license to drive a big rig is slightly more difficult than buying a can of pop from a Coke machine. But will such steps be put into place to fix a wretchedly broken system? Will there be measures taken to ensure public safety is paramount? Because if that doesn't happen, it's only a matter of time before we bear witness to another Humboldt Broncos tragedy in the future. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, are you sick and tired of the shenanigans surrounding the SNC Lavalin affair? Well then go to our new website, jailtrudeau.com, that's jailtrudeau.com, and sign the petition.